very good Monday evening. Welcome into timeout here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy flying solo for the first half of the show as we get right to our game of the week this week. It's Wednesday night, the tilt at Harbor Station between the St. John Flames and the Providence Bruins. So let's go to the footage right now. So the St. John Flames look to put one more notch in the win column as they play host to the Providence Bruins. Flames enter this game with a 5-1-2 mark. Bruins enter the game with a 2-4 record. Now the Bruins will take full advantage on the first play of the game as Ioti Laxonen centers the puck to an untouched Joel Trache standing at the top of the crease coming up here. They battle back and forth. The Bruins will make a rush for the puck into the Flames zone. And they grab the quick 1-0 lead. The assist going to Joe Harney. So the Flames get caught, maybe thinking that the Bruins weren't going to give them much of a challenge here. 2 minutes later, Randy Robitaille beats Matt Odette to the Terry Virtue pass and pops it high over Giguère's glove. The black and gold have the early 2-0 lead. Only 2:16 into the first period. First good chance for the Flames coming up as defenseman Denik Walser slaps it at the net, but Varlamov fans on the rebound. Flames start crashing and banging. Denny Gauthier hits Cameron Mann and gets 2 minutes for his efforts. So the two-man advantage is coming up for the black and gold. As you see the Flames sitting in the sin bin and Providence getting ready to go on the attack. But Giguère is up to the task and he's able to hold them at bay with outstanding saves just like that one. Giguère really been hot of late and showing it on this night. Now the Flames get their first power play as Laxonen pulls down Chris Clark at 12:30 of the first frame. So the Flames will jump on a full advantage here as they really need to get on the board down 2-0 early in the first period. Nat Domicelli will set up Ronald Petrovicki here with a beautiful pass, and Gauthier gets the assists on the goal. The Flames are on the board and they trail the Providence Bruins now 2-1 in the first period at Harbor Station. Flames get right back to it. They don't waste much time getting the tie here in the first period. Flames will tie it up here coming up. As you see Petrovicki getting his congratulations from his teammates. And they'll tie it up on the backhand here by Sergei Varlamov. The assist going to Travis Brigley and Chris O'Sullivan. Time of the goal comes at 18:33. And that's the way the first period would wrap up, deadlocked at 2. But the Bruins out shooting the Flames wickedly in this game. 14-7 the shots on goal in favor of the black and gold. And you see Varlamov heading over to the Flames bench, getting congratulations from his teammates. Second period, Jean-Sébastien Giguère comes up with 3 big saves right there. Keep the Flames within striking distance in this game. Roughing penalties were then handed out to Mickey Ellick and Cameron Mann as they exchange pleasantries here. The rough stuff was scattered all throughout this game. So these guys will be heading off to the sin bin. You see the officials in there breaking things up. Now with the Flames shorthanded, John Bates beats Giguère coming up here. So Flames try to clear the zone. And here come the Bruins back on the attack. And he beats Giguère, and the Bruins retake the lead 3-2 now. 7:09 of the second period. And then fan favorite Rocky Thompson. He'll get into it. Here we go. He looks to get his team on an emotional high. Here as he and Aaron Downey exchange pleasantries. Rocky trying to get that right hand free, and there you see it flying. And he's landing some good shots there. No question about it. We got to give this one to Rocky. You see Downey trying to get Thompson's helmet off. The locks are flying. The fists are flying. And the fans are loving it down at Harbor Station. It's Thompson and Downey. There's one good shot from Thompson before the officials step in. Downey gets a little brave knowing the officials are there now. But we'd have to give that tilt to Thompson, no question about it. And the fans were loving it down at Harbor Station. Rocky Thompson back in the fold. 4:20 left in the second frame. Don McKelly receives the pass from Sergei Varlamov. He beats Jim Carey low on the stick side. Breaks a stick on the play, but he also breaks the Bruins lead. Flames and Providence now tied at 3. In the second period of play at Harbor Station. Don McKelly looking good so far early in the season and showing off his broken stick as he heads back to the bench. Matt Odette gets caught removing the net here on the play from its moorings. So that'll be setting up a Bruins power play. Odette trying to plead his cause. And on the ensuing extra man attack, Trache gets his second of the game. He'll ring it off the post from the high slot, but it does tickle the twine. And that gives the Bruins back the 4-3 lead after 2 periods of play at Harbor Station. Providence really really flying the rubber on this night, 34-18. They outshoot the Flames after 40 minutes. Pretty slow action to start the third period. Flames came out banging, and so did Providence. Andre Savage levels Ronald Petrovicki with a wicked cross-check there as the Flames continued to press. And the two teams mix it up, but cooler heads do prevail as the officials step in. And you'll see St. John head coach Rick Vive here, visibly upset with the official. No call on the play. Trainers have to check on Petrovicki to make sure he's okay. And Vive asking, where is the call on that one? Flames then continue the rough and tumble play in the third period. Hey, welcome home, former Flames captain Steve Bancroft. And he finds out what the rest of the league finds out about Rocky Thompson. What you do when you go in the corner against Thompson, you better keep your head up. Looked like a pretty clean hit, but the officials didn't think so. So Thompson will get 2 minutes to sit in the sin bin. Flames continue the press, looking for that tying goal. Now down McKelly, beautiful pass to Eric Landry. He tips her home, and that deadlocks the game at 4 apiece. Flames fans are ecstatic on hand at Harbor Station, and the team is ecstatic as well. The game will end in a 4-all tie, and the Flames skate away with the single point on this night. So there you have it. St. John Flames and the Providence Bruins battle to a 4-all tie Wednesday night at Harbor Station with just 3,900 fans down at the station. Next action for the Flames is coming up Friday night as they battle the Beasts of New Haven. That is the first of back-to-back games against the Beasts. Coming up Friday night, game time is set for 7 o'clock, and then Saturday night, once again, game time is 7 o'clock. Coming up next, we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about, so don't go far. A lot of great stuff coming up for you. We'll be chatting with the Vice President of the Southern Conference High School Hockey League, Bruce McDonald. Come back and join us.
Up your green thumb every Tuesday night at 9 or Saturdays at 5. It's the Maritime Gardener, and it's only on Channel 10 TVNB. Join in on the fun on Fiddlin', Fridays at 9:30 and again Saturday at 6 p.m. on Channel 10 TVNB.
You know, I still feel like a child myself. And here I am, I'm a father.
For the first 3 months, I felt completely detached from the whole thing.
The most difficult thing I've ever had to face in my entire life.
Okay, here we go.
Stay calm. Step back, take a break.
I think that's one of the most important things.
You have enough knowledge.
Surrounding yourself with people relatively your own age who are doing the same thing.
When you need help, it's okay to ask.
Body Break with Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
Hal told me, and his dad told him, that if you can't carry your own hockey bag, then you aren't up to the challenge of playing the game. So as you can see, this is my hockey bag, and I'm going to be joining the Mississauga Chiefs female hockey team for a practice. Well, that's mine. Thanks.
Women have played hockey since the late 1800s. This is also when men's hockey was first organized, but it's taken almost a century to see the growth in women's hockey. And most people welcome the idea of recreation and competitive organized female hockey. Now everyone from the age of 5 and up has the opportunity to play this fantastic sport.
Get on the ice, you suddenly realize that it's really fun and you get to learn more stuff.
it's a good stress release from daily classes and exams and things like that. It's good to get out and play.
I think what it's done is help me set some goals and achieve them.
It's fun and get to meet a lot of friends and that you get to, you know, score goals and win games and lose games and, you know, go on tournaments.
I look forward to going to hockey.
Until next time, keep fit and have fun.
Hey, I had a great time today. Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
Body break.
You're watching TVNB, the New Brunswick channel.
And welcome back into Time Out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy being joined by Bruce McDonald in the studio. We had so much fan mail the first time you were here, Bruce, we had to bring you back.
Thanks for having me here again, Jim.
Hey, not a problem. Let's get right to it. St. John Flames smoking red hot. Of course, being Flames, they are red hot. Just an outstanding start to this season. Rick Vaive looks like he's situated himself very comfortably into the fold of the AHL, making the jump from the East Coast League. And there was a lot of talk when this season got started that, you know, this team might have some growing pains, might have some troubles after the year they had last year. A lot of players on the move, but they have seemed to have picked up right where they left off.
Yeah, actually, I'm very surprised that they've done this so well this early in the season. Rick Vaive's really done well. Jaguar, of course, is the key in net right now. But losing Jamie Allison and Ryan Bask early on, as well as Steve Bancroft, and they haven't missed a beat at all. They've played great hockey, and they're leading the league in points right now. And their forwards, Eric Landry and Nat Domichelli, are doing well.
Their number one line's been fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
Sure. So what about this Bancroft deal? I mean, this goes down earlier last week. I mean, you know, all of a sudden the Bruins are coming into town. They've got a tilt, one game, one night stand against the Flames at Harbor Station. All of a sudden, the morning of the game, we find out that Captain Steve Bancroft is being loaned to the Providence Bruins. What did you think of this whole thing?
I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I had no problem with Steve Bancroft moving on to the IHL if that's what he wanted. He's an older player. He can make a few more dollars there and play in a league where it's not quite as competitive as the AHL. But when you loan him to a team that you're playing the same night, that's just a slam in the back of the St. John fans right there, I think.
It was pretty weird seeing him out there in that Bruins jersey, I'll tell you that. Jean-Sebastien Giguère, I mean, what more can be said about this guy? He starts his year up in Calgary. He's riding the pine, makes a trip over to Japan. He knows that he's going to get most of the workload here down in St. John once they finally got him here. I think everybody was expecting maybe this guy to have a little bit of jet lag, maybe to take a little bit of time to get into the #1 role down here in St. John, but this guy's strapped on the pads, and I mean, the scary thing is, knowing that we are the farm team, this guy could get called up to Calgary the way he's playing.
Well, it's hard to say with Reggett and Tyler Moss up in Calgary. Tyler Moss hasn't seen a minute of action yet.
Absolutely.
Reggett's played every game, which surprised me to this point. But obviously, if Giguère plays this well for the next few weeks even, you might see him up in Calgary where they're struggling up there.
No question about that. Let's flip over to the Southwest AAA Boys High School Hockey. It kicks off tonight, 6:30. Gets started as soon as we get done here, actually. First game has Rothsay going up against Harborview High in Grand Bay. What are you looking for in this game tonight?
Well, they're both two new teams this year, Harborview and Rothsay High School, so it's hard to say. Harborview did play an exhibition game, and they beat St. Stephen 5-3, and they packed the rink out in Grand Bay about a week ago. I understand there was about 500 fans out there packing the so we're excited about that. We hope to see another big crowd out there tonight and a good game.
Absolutely. The one thing I've noticed about the exhibition games so far in the high school hockey league is the amount of goals. The scoring has been way up. Now, is this something that you guys wanted to see coming into the season?
Well, it's always good to see extra goals. I think that brings the borderline fans out. If you're going to see good end-to-end action, lots of goals. I like to see good goaltending myself.
Sure.
But we haven't really concentrated on that. I guess it goes in cycles, same as anything else.
Who are you looking for this year? Who's going to be the dominant team, and who do you think is going to struggle a little bit out of the gate?
Well, Hampton High School was very strong last year. I expect to see them strong again this year. Most of their teams back intact again, as well as Fundy High School. The teams that could struggle a little bit are the new teams in the league this year. Rothsay High School is brand new.
Sure.
Rothsay Collegiate's only in their second year. Harborview is new, but we hope these teams are going to be competitive as well.
Let's talk about Junior B hockey now. We flip down there. Thomas Construction. They open up the season with a 12-0 victory. Okay, I mean, that's simply outstanding. I mean, this team is really scoring some goals. Merle Stewart's got a real tough crew this year. He came out of the gate during practices and a few exhibition games. He said, we are going to have a tough team out here on the ice. We're not going to get pushed around. We're going to have enough to score some goals if we need to, but we're not going to get pushed around either, and he's certainly lived up to his word on that so far.
Well, in their first 2 games, they had 160 penalty minutes.
That's
with about 5 or 6, 7 fights, something in that order. They've got a tough team. They won 12-0. They lost their second game 8-3 to Fredericton. But I expect to see a very tough team on the ice. It's a high-scoring league as well.
Sure. And
Matt Millette in net is an experienced goaltender, so hopefully he'll do the job for them this year.
Played a little Junior A backup when the Junior A team was here in town. I know he was playing a little bit of the backup role. He did get in and see some action as well, so it's definitely good to have that experience between the pipes. You need it.
That's right. He's a former St. John High School goaltender as well, so he played at a high-level hockey in the high school league as well.
We're looking forward to it because they've got a good stretch of home games coming up. They had to start on the road, but I know that Merle and Adrian were pretty excited about playing in the LBR this year. Unfortunately, senior team not up and running this year. Steve Vare was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and but I mean, it's like Adrian said to me a couple of weeks ago, you hate to see the senior league go, but it's a full advantage card to the junior B team because they do get to play in the LBR. You can get a few more people in there, and hopefully they will get some decent crowds.
Well, that's right. Last year the problem was playing out of the Lancaster Centennial League, and the only ice time they could get last year, they were going up against the senior team a lot and the Flames as well. So this year they're trying to schedule their games when the Flames aren't around, and hopefully get some fans out.
Let's make the leap to the NHL now. One of the interesting stories that caught my eye through the week, Glenn Sather and the Edmonton Oilers finally sit down. They get to terms with Doug Weight. He'd been a holdout for a couple of weeks. Then all of a sudden he goes out, tears a knee. He's out maybe 3 months. They're not sure. It could be 4 months. They might see him after the All-Star game. What's your whole deal on this? I mean, this is one of those situations where me as a hockey fan and a few other people that are hockey fans out there are saying to themselves, you know, these guys hold out for this kind of cash. They finally get in there, and the only thing, accidents happen. You get a weird hit or whatever, but I've seen the hit about 12 times, and it didn't look that serious. Have you seen it? Did it look serious to you?
I saw the hit, and I believe he was trying to hit his opponent when it happened. And it didn't look very serious at all. I mean, strange things happen. I guess it was his knee ligament again, and I guess we're not doctors. We can't sit here and say, you know, how bad it is or how you can hurt yourself like that, but it's tough on a team like Edmonton, especially where they're giving this guy millions of dollars, and now they have to find someone to replace him more or less for half the season. Where they can't really afford. I mean, they gave him the money. Now, obviously, you know, Glenn Sather has been one of the more vocal general managers around the league, saying, you know, we can't afford to continue to pay these multi-million-dollar deals, especially a Canadian team paying in U.S. dollars. Now, all of a sudden, his #1 guy's out. But the team continues to find a way to win. Now, does that shine on Glenn Sather's experience and Ron Lowe's experience behind the bench as well? Well, I believe so. I mean, they seem to have put together a team of young players that are hardworking. Their goaltending has been extremely good this year, which is a surprise to me. Huge shock, with Cujo gone. But still, Doug Weight, I don't see how you can replace him. He's really the marquee player on that team, and we'll see what happens for the next 2 months. Exactly. I think when the season got underway and Cujo was gone, I think everybody didn't give Edmonton too much of a chance, but they're keeping their head above water. Speaking of teams not keeping their head above water, what's going on in Colorado? The Avalanche have all of a sudden looked like an expansion team out of the gate this year. They've only got 1 win under their belt. You know, Lacroix sitting in the front office. He's made a couple of moves, shipped his son off to L.A. for a draft pick coming up next year. Patrick Waugh has been mediocre, to say the least. Joe Sakic, he's held the hot stick. But, I mean, they're just, I don't understand this. I mean, here's a team that won the Stanley Cup, and they were talking dynasty when they beat Florida a couple of years ago. Now, all of a sudden, like I said, they look like an expansion team. Well, they made a few deals in the last couple of years, got rid of some character players like Mike Keane and Mike Ricci, guys like that. Patrick was struggling this year. We'll see. It's still early for those guys. I still think they have a talented team there, and come playoff time, we'll see how they're doing. No question. It'll be interesting to watch them down the stretch because they've got to start putting some wins. I mean, you got to put these points in the bank because, I mean, once you get teams out there that are winning 4 and 5 in a row, these, you know, you're playing catch-up for the rest of the year, and that's no way to play hockey in this league. Also, they lost one of their key defensemen to Detroit there, Huey Krupp. That's right, they did. And I don't think people realize what a big loss that would be. Huge. And I don't think Forsberg's playing up to his potential right now either. No question. Sakic is carrying that offensive load on his shoulders, and he can't do that all year. Plus, you have Claude Lemieux there floating around like he does for every regular season. Exactly, exactly. We'll see. He's such a streaky player, too. I mean, Lemieux gets hot, and then he gets stone dead cold. It's like he's not even out on the ice, but it'll be interesting to see if they can turn things around. Speaking of teams that have fallen by the wayside after, you know, a hot start, I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs jump out to this
awesome start. The champagne is chilled. You know, Leaf fans across the country, and especially in the metropolitan Toronto area, are, you know, all excited. Their team, Pat Quinn's there, Curtis Joseph's there. They're totally ecstatic. Now all of a sudden they get beat twice by Buffalo over the weekend. Look pretty shaky. Their power play, I've got the stat here, is 4 for 56 over their past 7 games. What's going on in Leafdom?
Well, I don't understand how their power play can be that bad. I watched the game Saturday night, and Matt Sundin, as Europeans go, is a hard-nosed player.
Absolutely.
He plays hard. He's a leader out there. Steve Thomas is playing well on that line as well. They've got to get Frederick Modine back up on that line, because I've got him in my hockey pool. So I need some goals out of him.
Absolutely. What do you think about the Montreal Canadiens situation? Here's a team that get pummeled by the Bruins 9-2 on home ice, go into Boston, play to a 1-1 tie, look fabulous. Thibault looked great between the pipes. Then all of a sudden they go into Ottawa on Saturday night, 5-1. They look terrible. Their defense was shoddy at best. Their offense was non-existent, except for Mark Recchi, of course, who always continues to shine for that team. But once again, the goaltending question has popped up. That's the huge controversy around the water coolers in La Belle Province. Do they make a move? Is Felix on his way out? Because when Toronto got beat, those back-to-back games, they played in Buffalo Friday night, then played in Toronto on Saturday night. Felix got the start. The Boo Birds were out Saturday night against Felix. Is this a situation where he gets out for the good of Felix and he gets out for the better of Montreal?
I think it's a combination of both those things. You get a guy who's making over $1 million a year. You can't be playing one game every 2 weeks. He struggled Saturday night, but you can't blame him for that.
I don't think so.
I think he'd fit well in Montreal. Once again, my prediction stands that Brian Savage goes to Toronto for him.
Brian Savage?
Brian Savage from Montreal to Toronto. Although I've talked to some Leaf fans, and they want a defenseman, so we'll give him Malakoff instead. They want him.
Now, don't be shipping my team off just yet, okay?
My team. Hey. We have to get those Russians out of here.
That's right. Well, the thing let's take a flip over to baseball here for a minute.
Sure.
We get into the winter seasons, and it's always interesting to sit back and see who's on the free agent market, who's going where, who's going to do what, who's going to pull the trigger on some deals. Word out of Toronto is that Gordash is going to have a little more money to spend. He took a week's vacation, went over to Ireland, sitting at the pubs, having a couple, blowing the froth off a couple of cool ones, which is always good after a hard season. But they say he's going to have more money. The first big acquisition that we're hearing is that Dave Stewart is going to be coming back to work in the front office in Toronto. Is this a good move for Toronto, or should they be concentrating more on the on-field players?
I think that what they need to concentrate on is getting their ballpark. They're fighting with the Sky Dome right now.
Absolutely.
They're threatening to play out of Exhibition Stadium with all the Seagulls.
With the with people buying seats on the auction block and moving them out as we speak.
Exactly. I feel like they have to concentrate on that as well as getting the players on the field. They need to sign Clemens again, keep him there.
Sure.
They need some more offense. Maybe Mo Vaughn would help them there. I don't know where he'd play in Toronto.
We take him.
Exactly.
No question.
Yep. I'm not a Blue Jays fan, but I don't mind seeing them do well and win some games.
Sure.
I'm an Expos fan, as you probably know, and that's a lost cause as far as I can see right now.
All right, well, let's jump over to the Expos for a minute. Playing in that tank that they call Olympic Stadium, they have the drive is on and has been for quite some time now. Serge Savard, former Montreal Canadiens general manager, leading the parade here to try to get this new downtown facility built. Is it going to happen, or is this just another of the ongoing saga that is the Montreal Expos?
Well, I have my hopes that it will happen, but I have my doubts that it will happen as well. It's the only thing that will save the team and keep them in Montreal, obviously.
Sure.
They've done some positive things this past season by signing Guerrero and these boys to long-term deals. They kept Felipe Alou, which was a big move.
How much of a class act is this guy? I mean, he's getting offers from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and you can imagine the kind of money that they threw in front of him for a dollar figure. But he says, no, I've worked hard at trying to build something here in Montreal, and I want to stay in Montreal. How much, I mean, this guy has got more class than, you could fill up in this room.
That's right. You don't see that too much anymore. You don't see it from management. You don't see it from ball players. But it's great to see it from Felipe Alou, and hopefully they'll get the stadium built downtown and reward him with a good ball team and maybe, who knows, a championship someday for Montreal.
Is this a paper dream for this new stadium downtown?
It might be.
Going to happen?
It might be. I really don't know.
Where does the money come from? I mean, I know they're doing drives and everything like that, but I mean, quickly, where do you think this money is going to come from?
Well, it's hard to say, really. Jim. It's some private funds have to be kicked in, obviously. I mean, if that doesn't happen, the whole thing won't happen. But once again, I just hope it does come to be, and that stadium will be sitting right across the street from the new home for the Habs.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
It would be, because I mean, it'd be a tragic loss if we did lose the Montreal Expos.
Terrible.
I mean, they've been a tradition for years here in Canada. Bruce, I want to thank you for dropping by. It's been a great pleasure.
All right, Jim. Thanks a lot.
That fan mail keeps rolling in. We'll have you back before you know it.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
All right. And that's going to do it for another edition of Time Out here on TVNB. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you again next Monday at 6 o'clock. Have yourself a good week.